Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the 53206 cast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Meg.
And, people, this is a podcast. Meg, I think this is a podcast about We Got This.
We do talk about the community garden over on 9th and Ring a lot.
Yeah, so I think this episode.
Got it.
This episode. Well, I don't remember if you remember. I don't know if you remember, but I had mentioned to you, the tag. We're always talking about the tagline.
Sure.
And
the tagline of our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe.
I thought wasn't it reframing inner city spaces?
I don't know. It probably is. It's probably very nice. It's probably like a nice thing to have like as a subtitle to a book.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't know. When I listen to a podcast, I think of a podcast as more like infotainment.
Yeah, I like that.
Like you get information, but then you're also, I hope, at least mildly.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not boring.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a great outcome of a podcast.
Sure.
You would be bored by it. But yeah, Meg, today
was the first We Got This of the season.
It was. Meg, I got up at 4 a.m.
Gosh, that's early.
Yeah, but I mean, I get up at 4 a.m.
You do regularly.
Yeah,
it's not actually early for
not
me.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, I'm up, doing something.
I feel like many times I get up and I go and pour my coffee and the coffee maker is beeping because you've already been up for 2 hours.
Yes.
And I think, wow, am I late to the game? And it's like 6.
You're fine. You don't base what you do based off of what I do.
Yeah, I don't.
So I got up early. I got up at
Mm-hmm.
4, and the first Saturday, it's like the first day of school.
Yeah.
And you set the tone for your classroom on the first day of school.
Sure.
I remember one year we went to go see Fish in Colorado, and I missed the first day of school.
Okay.
And it took like a month.
Really?
Yeah, because, the kids had picked their seats already, and it was just, I moved them around, and I pretended like the second day was the first day. But I knew in the back of my head, like, okay, that going to that concert cost me some problems for about a month.
Okay.
Well worth it. Would do it again. Do it again in a heartbeat. 100% worth it.
Okay.
So, but the first Saturday, that's where you set the tone.
Yeah. And I feel like it was a lot of planting. So I do feel like I had to be very prepared too with, are we getting plants in the right places and, having all the things ready for the planting situation, which I think we did.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like, the tone, so I woke up at 4 a.m. because I was, we were going to have a meeting.
Yeah.
And then there was going to be
with the student leaders and
the adult
staff.
leaders,
yeah.
like almost 15 or 20 people.
I was going to say it seemed like 30. It
was
seemed like
a
there
lot.
was a lot of people, which was great.
Yeah, great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, leadership is a normal outcome of people being involved for an extended period of time in a group. Because you identify, so-and-so sophomore in high school, you actually are rising above everybody else. Whether that's like your innate abilities or just kind of who you are or, maybe where you fall in your family structure.
Even if you're able to read people. I feel like my student leader is incredible because I can say something. She's like already like on it. Like, it's like she can read my mind a little bit, which is incredible because I feel like a lot of times I'm not actually telling her anything. I'm like, can you get the thing from the thing? And she knows what I'm talking about.
I did have to stop her a couple of times and just tell her how good of a job she was doing.
Yeah.
And, I said, it's okay if you don't do this good in school. And she said, well, I do have a 4.0. And I was like, okay, sorry. Clearly you're excelling in all areas of your life. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a big group. The big group had a plan for the meeting.
Yeah.
And so I did get up. I got up early, and I was planning it during Dex's baseball game last night. But, I wanted to just go through it one more time, make sure I had everything in order that I wanted to say so that I, could hit most of those things. I only missed like 1 or 2 of the 20 bullet points, so that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But, Meg, I was nervous this morning because, when We Got This gets together, like in the fall.
Yeah.
And we have an annual meeting because I think most nonprofits are supposed to have an annual meeting.
Yeah.
Ours is basically like we write down everything that we did in the year and then we say, well, what else could we do?
Sure.
And then we set some goals. And so the goal for this year was to average 125 kids a week.
Yeah.
Now, Meg, I used to be a math teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So if we had 0 kids on the first week, we would have to have like 125 plus enough to bring the average of 0 up. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you
don't want 0.
I don't want 0.
Yeah.
And, I had this really cool moment. I was on a run, because I got that running streak. And so I got to leave the house an hour and 15 minutes before I need to be somewhere. 'Cause that's how long it takes to go for a run, shower, eat breakfast, whatever. So I go for my run, and there's nobody at the garden. It's like 6 in the morning.
Sure.
I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It was at 4:45 in the morning.
Free run at 4:45.
Yes, because I wanted to be at work at 6.
Okay.
It was like 6:10. It was fine.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It is a Saturday. But 6:10, I went for my run. I came back, and as I was leaving for my run, I noticed the two brothers that live up the street.
Yeah.
One of them was walking around the corner to peek at the garden because they like to be first.
Oh my God.
They want to be the first ones in line, and they live right there.
Yeah.
And so he peeked around the corner and ran back.
Oh.
These are the guys that like wouldn't wear shoes for a while.
Yeah.
They wear shoes now.
Yeah.
He peeked around, scurried back to the house.
Oh.
And at 6:38, they were in line.
Oh.
With one of their friends in line, ready to go.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. So we were gonna have at least 3.
Yeah.
And the kids trickled in. We ended the day with 106, which makes achieving our average manageable.
Yeah.
So very excited about that.
Yeah.
Super excited that because you spend. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah.
The team of people in charge of We Got This has been working on this.
Yeah.
It probably didn't do much in September. Probably we're still kind of gardening and things, but basically end of October on, like we're working on,
and we're gearing up. I feel like January, February, March.
It's cold.
We're gearing. Well, my basement is not cold.
No. Oh God.
We are planting plants.
Remind me, I need to pay the We Energies bill. It's so much money, but
Sorry
we need to
that.
pay. But yeah, so a lot of gear. I mean, and you just hope. Okay, well, I hope that these, I hope that the kids have found it valuable enough. I hope that they knew that it was starting.
Yeah.
And because I don't know, you just post it on Facebook and you text people that maybe they get the text, maybe they don't. Yeah. And I don't know, what's there, like 7 yard signs? But that worked.
Yard signs are expensive, so I think we got 7.
Okay. So that worked. So 106 kids. I have to do the math and see what that ends up being, like in the total amount of money that was paid out. But it's probably right around $2,000.
Wow.
Given out to the kids today.
That's exciting.
So
that's really exciting.
Yeah, we're on our way to 35,000. I guess it's probably a little bit more than $2,000. So super exciting. Happy to do that. Meg, do you have any interesting stories from today?
Yeah. So there was at one point, I feel like you get 3 hours in and kids start getting tired. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. Like, my student leader, can you take this kid to go to the bathroom? And then, so then she comes back and some other kids need to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, all right, can you take the next group? And the girl that just went to the bathroom is going to walk with them. And I was like, you just went to the bathroom. What are you doing? And she kind of like, she's a 5th grader, so like she's younger. But she was just kind of like, I just, and she wasn't really saying anything. So I was like, hey, is it hard working? Like it's okay. Like it's hot. Like it's totally okay. And so like we went over like work is a muscle, and like I'm not going to say you haven't worked in a while, but you're in 5th grade. I'm sure you haven't worked in a while. And so it was a really
it's not like she works in the coal mine and this is like the easy.
Yeah. And so it was a really neat opportunity just to kind of stop and be like, go grab a water and then come back. Like we're planting. If you want to just pick out seeds that you want, like that you want to plant by yourself, you want to plant with a friend. If you want to go around and just look at the flowers, you can do that. Pick up trash here and there. Like I was like, I want you to sit and just think about what you're excited to do. And then I want you to do that. But go take a break, have some water, just sit and chill for a minute. Yeah. You can take a break at work. And she came back and she was like, all right, I'm really excited to plant these flowers. And I was like, great, and so that was really neat. I also really enjoyed at the end of the garden, we have circle time within our group, and it was wonderful. I mean, we had some older kids that are, we had a lot of teen girls, which I like teen girls. I feel like I get along well with teen girls.
Which is hilarious because our daughter, who happens to be a teen girl,
does not like me. But I feel like I was the same with my mom. So I'm like, it's fine. Everybody liked my mom. I didn't like my mom. So I'm like, this is normal.
Now you do. Your mom's great.
I love my mom. Yeah. She's like my biggest fan. Yeah. It's great. She's like a cheerleader for me. I love her. And so, we just had these great discussions, and there was a volunteer mom there, and, she's lived within the community for a while. And so she just said a lot of things that were just really powerful to our group. Like, there was this person who was walking down the street and yelling into their phone. Like, this person was not a part of us, and they were just yelling into their phone. And I was like, hey, I just want to acknowledge, like, this is weird. I'm sorry we all have to deal with that. And so then this woman who was a volunteer is like, hey, I just want to point out, like, this person walked down the street and, like, tried to distract us. Like, let's really keep this momentum going. And, like, let's just keep focusing on what we're supposed to be focusing on. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. It was really, I feel like we had a lot of moments where I was like, oh, this is really good. And it just was a really, like I said to you earlier, I feel like I had wonderful, wonderful people in my group, and it was great.
Yeah, it was real cool. We had this kid, he lives just down the street, probably 3-4 blocks away. And I remember last year he was just always asking for like extra work.
Cool.
I mean, that's actually a pretty common occurrence, which is hard because I can't just make up work.
And he's what, 6th grade?
Probably.
He's young. I mean, he's young.
He's on the younger side.
Yeah.
You can't just make up work. And also, I mean, if we had a couple thousand people that were donating money and we're just like, anytime a kid wants to work, find something, I probably would.
But a lot of times too, like one of the staff people, or like somebody needs to like be around, and we don't always want to manage kids working.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So he was asking to borrow a lawnmower because he wanted to cut his lawn.
Nice.
And I said, well, come back when we're all done, because I am working for sure until 12:30 and probably until I think we wrapped up around 2:00. So, he came by. I don't know. It was like 1:00. It was like 1:15, something like that. And he was telling me, I want to cut my grass and I want to go around and I want to see if other people want their grass cut. And he wanted to borrow the lawnmower for that. And I'm like, well, and he was in the lawn mowing group.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, that isn't crazy.
Yeah.
It isn't crazy that you could do that. And he had his bike, so I said, well, leave your bike as collateral for the lawnmower.
Smart.
Because you probably want your bike back.
Yeah.
And you'll take care of the lawnmower more likely if you got to swap me at the end. Yeah. Anyways, so, I said, well, today's not probably a great day for that. For you, it's fine. Yes, go take the lawnmower, cut your grass, bring it back, and then I'll give you your bike back and you go home. But this week, if you see yards or you talk to your neighbors, I told them, you can borrow the lawnmower if you've already got clients lined up.
That's great.
And you just, you tell me I'm going to cut 5, one, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
Tell them that on Saturday, after you go cut your grass, you're going to cut theirs, and I'll make sure that you can borrow the lawnmower and bring it back, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was interesting because he at first was he didn't get what he wanted. And I explained, like, well, you're asking for a big thing.
Yeah.
And let's see if you can do the little thing first.
Yeah.
And he was very eager to show that he was responsible, which I thought was really cool. But it was kind of like what you were saying, how work is a muscle. Responsibility would also be one.
Yeah.
And, like, I know I'm way more responsible now than I was when I was 22 or something. And I was more responsible when I was 22 than when I was 11.
Yeah.
So, like, I was kind of explaining that same thing to him, that, the more you do this stuff, the easier it will be for you to go do it in the future.
Yeah.
So, be responsible, take the lawnmower, bring it back. find somebody that wants it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I love that. Because I just feel like, so each group at We Got This has kind of has like one designated student leader, and then you get to pick, how you want to utilize the other extra $20 to give out. So student leaders get paid $40. And, I just heard over and over again how great the student leaders that were already that have been working with us for a while and have been working in the gardens for a while, how well they did. And I feel like it's that, they've already been given a lot of responsibility. And, I think We Got This is such a wonderful opportunity because they are given the opportunity for leadership, but they're also, if they fail a little bit, it's their first job. It's wonderful. It's a learning
big
lesson.
Safety net.
Yeah. So I just think it's I always just think it's such a cool opportunity for kids. It's such a neat opportunity for, whoever gets to volunteer too, just to help kids navigate that flow of leadership and responsibility. And what do we always say? What's the word? When you get older, you get more, what's the word?
Older?
No, you get more autonomy.
Oh, yes. Autonomy. Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom and autonomy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't just get older. You get to do more. You get to do more things. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, any, was there anything that you were surprised by today?
I mean, I was surprised by a lot of the answers to the circle questions because they were very deep and they were very, one of the things, one of the questions was what worked well today? And they were like, our group worked really well together. And I thought, wow, that's neat. I didn't expect a lot of the answers that came out of the kids' mouths, that how much they liked working, because even some of them, one of the girls had a hard time working. The other girl said $20 isn't enough. Sure. It's great. It's all great. And it's fun too, because that specific girl that she's like $20 isn't enough. I'm like, you need a summer job. Go get a regular job. That's fine. let's, and she's like, can you help figure out how to do a resume, and it's like, these are all great questions. So yeah, I just think that circle time, it was really nice. We sat under this great, this shady tree, and it was just a nice opportunity to reflect on the day and just talk about, how, again, we had a lot of teen girls. So I'm like, we're talking a lot about teamwork and stuff and how sometimes teen girls can be difficult and, and they all were wonderful. Again, I feel like teen girls can definitely be moody, and they were all just so wonderful. So I was wonderfully surprised by my group and just their thoughtfulness.
Nice. Yeah. I used to think circles were ridiculous. And then at the school that I was working at, we did a bunch of them, and I was like, okay. Yeah. And they can be kind of stupid, but the purpose of them is it's not about the shape that you're sitting in, although being in a circle is nice. It's an opportunity to reflect and really think about what you're doing, because if you are a child and this is your first experience with work, which for a lot of them it is, because they physically can't. You can't
for
get a job
fourth,
when you're 12,
fifth, sixth grader. It's great.
But if you can stop for a minute and you can think about, okay, all I have, I get a reward, and we're pretty clear about what the reward is, $20.
Yeah.
You might actually find that there is a series of other rewards that go along with this experience, which would make you want to do working more.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it like a week or two ago we were talking about how, if school doesn't work for somebody, and for a lot of the kids it works fine. It's fine. But if it's not, at least then okay, working works for me.
Yeah.
And when you're 17, 18 years old and you're trying to transition into the next phase of your life, you need working to work for you.
Yeah.
It's gotta work for you.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to end up with all sorts of problems that aren't easily solvable.
Yeah. I was also excited. One of the kid he's a student leader, we haven't seen him in a while. I don't think either one of us or anyone on the leadership team has his phone number, and so
I think he likes it that way.
Which is great. But he was saying that he was graduating this year, and I was like, okay, what are your plans for the summer? And he was like, I'm going to get my driver's license, and then I'm going to apply for the city and be a garbage truck driver. And he's like, they make really good money. And he's like, I think I could get a job right away. And I'm like, what a great plan, So I was really excited to just hear he had a plan, he had goals, and he had, he has the steps. He was trying to work more at We Got This so he could pay for his to get his driver's license.
That's great. Hey, and I just want to point this out to listeners. You can always, like, if you heard that story and you were like, I want to be the person to pay for that kid's driver's ed class. Because in Wisconsin, where I'm from in Illinois, you took driver's ed as part of school.
And you can take it in school, but just a lot of kids don't.
No, it's not. And it's not the same. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it was like in Middleton.
You can take it through through Milwaukee Rec, but you can't take it through. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
When I was in high school, second period,
it was just a class. Yeah.
Was driver's ed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you showed, like, you signed up. Every sophomore in high school signed up for driver's ed. And then you got placed in which quarter of the year based on when your birthday was. And then the driver's ed teacher was like the gym teacher.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that was the same. Yep.
Or like the gym teacher that was like really tired and didn't want to be a gym teacher anymore. And they drove you around the neighborhood and taught you how to drive.
We had like the simulation thing.
All right, we weren't that cool.
So stupid. Yeah, I mean, it was not helpful. Yeah.
But like Mr. Hartley or whatever was the gym, was the guy that took you behind the wheel and practiced second period. And that's not the same. And so you do get like a bunch of kids that don't have driver's licenses because it costs like $300 to take driver's ed. And so I only point that out because, when the way that neighborhoods like ours improve, and Meg, we're going to talk about this on the next episode, but the way that neighborhoods like ours improve is like little by little.
Yeah.
And, if you're a listener and you're like, oh, I'd love to just pay for that kid's driver's ed, reach out at contact at wegotthismke.com and you probably will answer the email and help facilitate that.
Yeah.
Because there's like lots of little barriers in life that when you don't have resources, whether that's like the financial resources to do it or the family structure that provides you resources, those little barriers that are a challenge for you potentially are grown exponentially when you don't have those resources. And so, like he's going to try and work a bunch to try to get a car so that then he can get a job. Which is great.
He's not trying to get a car. He's trying to get driver's license.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you're hearing something and you think, oh, I'd love to do that specifically, just reach out at contact at wegotthismke.com and we'll attempt to figure out how to make that happen.
It was also really neat. One of the girls, she asked she was like, I heard that because you said at the very beginning, like, the people who are paying you guys out at the end aren't giving their money, because that's been a misconception sometimes that kids.
I'm not handing out $2,000.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So they were kind of like, well, who's paying for it then? And I was like, actually, it's all of Milwaukee. It's people in Milwaukee. It's
hundreds of people.
It's people in all of Wisconsin, and they believe in you guys, and they think that this is a wonderful thing that you are doing to create a better neighborhood, so they are paying you. And I said, somebody gave $1,000 last week, and they were like, whoa. And, they just thought it was mind-boggling that people outside of the city would give money for them to work. It was a really neat opportunity to say, this is like how great you are. This is, and again, I think it goes into like just the self-esteem of the neighborhood is low, and with that, the self-esteem of the kids can be low. And so
not today at 12:30.
Oh my gosh,
it was humming. Yeah,
it was wonderful, and I think it's just like every little bit that pours into these kids it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. So, Matt, you got anything to plug, or you want to wrap it up here?
I'm all out.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.